like to share with you on this week's Parshas Eikev, something very nice from the Rebbe's father, Rabbi Yitzchok Zatzal. Then in this week's Parsha, we have the famous portion. It's the second Parsha of Shema, called Vohoya. Over there it says, the Pasuk, Kshartem lo'oisa yedecha, lo'yulu to'tofeis beinenecha. A person should put on tefillin on his arm and also on his head. Rabbi Yitzchok brings what says in Kabbalah and Chassidus, all over it explains that Rebbe says in Tanya Perik Mem Aleph. We know that there are 4 compartments to the tefillin. And then there's 2 straps that come to the back, and then we have a kesher, a knot in back of the bottom of the head, the neck part, and that then comes down 2 straps of tefillin. And it explains that the 4 compartments go on what's called the 4 levels, Chochmah and Bina, and then Chesed and Gvur of Das, which means in simple terms, it means like this. Hashem wants, when you put on tefillin, this gives you a blessing to understand the Eibishter, to understand the Lakus, to understand godliness, to understand this Torah. When a person understands, to use out his wisdom, that's the Chochmah, and also his understanding. But then Hashem says, the reason of your understanding is that should give birth to Ahavas Hashem, love for Hashem, and Yiras Hashem, fear of Hashem. And that's what's called Chesed and Gvur. Once you have love for Hashem, you understand that gives birth to love, you'll want to do mitzvahs. That's the shorish of mitzvahs. That the Rebbe explains in Perik Gimel and Perik Dal of Tanya. Once you have loisas, once you have fear and awe of Hashem, then that's the source of not chas v'sholem transgressing and doing something against Hashem's will, the mitzvahs loisas. The Rebbe explains in the end of Perik Gimel, in order for your understanding to have an effect on your emotions, you have to have that ingredient, that component called das. Das means bonding with it. A person could understand something, but then it's like, interesting, but it doesn't really relate to him. What a person has to do is internalize it, digest it, bond with it, connect with it. That's called das. And that's what the kesher, the knot in back of the head, which is also shaped like the letter Daled. Daled means 4, which means taking this on these 4 levels which you have in your tefillin, the 4 compartments, the 4 parshas, and now bonding with it to bring it down, that it should come down into the feelings. With this, Rabbi Yitzchok explains a beautiful thing. Like we said, the tziyur, the image and the picture of how you're supposed to make that kesher is like a daled. Daled means 4. It says a wondrous medrash that all Mefarshim try to find explanations on this. We have a famous story in the Nach, in Shmuel HaNavi, chapter 15, Shmuel Aleph, Perik Tezvov, where Shmuel asked Shaul HaMelech, go kill this Agog. Agog is a descendant from Amalek. Haman is called Haman Agogi. They all have that thing that they want to destroy the Jewish people. Go kill him. Kill this Amalek. He didn't do it. Whole story over there. And then by the end it says, the last pasuk of that Perik, it says, Vayeshasef Shmuel es Agog. Shmuel took Agog and he ripped him apart, sliced him up. Rashi brings down from this medrash in the Eicha Rabbah, Parsha Gimel, that Shmuel cut him up, sliced him up into 4 pieces. He put it on 4 different poles, and birds, ostriches came and ate him up. It's a wondrous medrash. The Rebbe's father explains every detail of the medrash. We're only going to focus on this point. Why did Shmuel HaNavi cut up this Agog into 4 pieces? Why 4? And he explains, it's what it says in Chassidus. Amalek and Agog, in a spiritual sense, they have the same type of klipa. That Rebbe says in Torah Or, Amalek comes from the word, the etymology comes from the word umolak es roishai from Parshas Vayikra. It means we separate the head from the body. Umolak. Snip it off. And that's the clip of Amalek. Amalek says, oh, I know the Eibush is great. Yudei Esri Boyna, he knows Hashem. But Umachav and limit boy, he wants to go against him. A person could understand, but doesn't have an effect. Amalek saw all the miracles. Still no, he had the chutzpah to stand up against. So he had the understanding, but he wanted to attack the das. That kesher of the tefillin. He says, Yidden, that's the clipper that everyone can have in us. This clippers of Amalek and Agog. Agog also comes to the word Gag, which means the higher part of a person. It's not a clipper from the emotions. It's the higher part. Over there with the head part, he's the same clipper of Amalek. He tells a Jew, oh, you understand, but I'm going to attack your das. I don't want that to come affecting your heart. Because once it comes that you have an emotional feeling of chesed and gvura, ava and yira, he knows he lost the battle because the person will do mitzvahs. So that's where his attack is, right over here by that kesher from tefillin. This is what Arizal explains in the Chassidus in many, many places. And that's why this tziyur, the shape of this kesher, this knot is a dalet to tell you, take these four things and make sure you bring it down. You need the das. And this Amalek and this Agog was against it. And that's why Shmuel HaNavi took this in front of all the Yidden in Gilgal. And he showed the Yidden, this clip of Amalek, this clip of Agog wants to make sure that we Yidden don't connect to Hashem. And he wants to attack this kesher of tefillin. He wants to make sure that the Jews should not be successful with this b'chinas das. That's this kesher of tefillin, which goes on this level with connecting and bonding everything. That means kesher. Kesher means we should take what we have in our head and bring it and connect it to us, bond with it, internalize it, digest it. So therefore, Shmuel says, told all the Yidden, this Agog will not be successful. We're going to take him, we're going to cut him up to 4 pieces because he's the menaget. He one who's fighting and contradicts against this siyur, against this dalad of the kesher from the tefillin. And that's why we see this beautiful Medrash. If you look in Rashi over there by Yeshasef, Rashi said right away, he cut him up into 4 pieces. All Mefarshim don't understand why 4, and that's what Rebbe Yitzchok explains. It comes because he was against this kesher from the tefillah, this dalet. He didn't want they should have this b'chinas das, this bonding and connecting to Hashem. And that's why he cut him up into 4 pieces. Everything in Medrash is so perfect and exact. There's so much more that Rebbe Yitzchok explains on this Medrash. You can look it up. It's in the volume of the Biurim on Psukim and Tanakh and Parshas Zocher. He has answers many, many questions on this beautiful Medrash, but just wanted to focus on the point why Shmuel cut up this Agog into 4 pieces.